Forefathers, take one. We're back.
What's up, Kgabo?
What's happening?
What's happening?
What's happening?
What's happening? Bro, it's a new year, and we're back.
We are back.
We're back. Within the New Year's, we've got water.
Yes.
The Lord's whiskey.
Yes.
Happy.
Happy.
Compliments.
Complete.
All right, bro, so we're back. We had a bit of a hiatus.
A very important one.
We need to let the people know why it is that we had a gap, we had a hiatus. Now we're back.
It's actually been, it's been a while. I think one, very transparent is that because this is still a new so-called channel.
Yeah.
Like everything we're doing here is just, it's me, it's you, it's a camera, it's lights, but there's no one else in the school. So I was doing the filming and the editing and all of that and the posting and all of these things because you don't have a team yet.
Yes.
So that burnt me out. And that then made me go, shucks, okay, maybe let's take a little bit of a break. Let's see if we can figure out a way in the system that works a bit better. So obviously new setup, new space.
Yep.
And then, so hopefully we can keep the momentum.
We can keep it going. Yeah. I guess the reality is, you start these things, you try these things, and then you try to figure out as you go.
Exactly.
Amidst all the life that is lifing around all the stuff. But then again, the life that is lifing is what enables us to then sit down and actually say, we need to talk about this particular thing.
What's this thing? Writers, sometimes they say writers, when they take a break from writing books or whatever the case is because they want to live some life so that they have something to write about.
Yes.
To experience a bit of life. So I feel...
You feel like that?
Oh, bro, no, but not intentionally. I feel like the last year, life has life.
They said, listen, life said, I will give you content. Son, I will give you content.
I've seen
I'll give you content. Yeah. So with that said, though, just to say, clearly we have lots to talk about this year.
Yeah.
And hopefully, God willing, that we can share some of those things.
But you're the guy with the big, massive change.
Oh yeah.
So, because this channel was called Forefathers, and someone decided that it'll not become a forefather, it'll be a five father. I don't even know if forefathers make sense or if it's five-a-side. But anyway, we're here.
Yes.
But congratulations.
No, thank you.
But now it's been how many months?
It's 10 months now. So we have a baby girl. She is 10 months old. And so that was what kind of took me out.
Yeah.
Last year was having a little baby. And also, to be real, was that it was an unplanned pregnancy.
Yeah.
And so that caught me off guard, or caught us off guard. And so I think part of life last year was just adjusting to that new addition. And so it's been real.
I'm going to ask you the obvious that everyone's probably thinking, is there a difference between 4 and 5?
Yes, but it's not as big as a jump. From I think the biggest jump is from 2 to 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's 2 to 3, and then 3 and 4 and 5 is just another. It's just another one. It's just another. Yeah.
Now the 7-seater's full now.
Yes. So those are some of the dynamics. It's
sure.
Now you have to think about vehicles, and those are kind of the things, But I think more than having an additional baby, it was just adjusting to a newborn.
Sure.
Yeah, I think that was, for me, the biggest adjustment. Was now going back to nappies, going back to sleep and routine and all those kind of things, and the nursing and the neediness of an infant. Those are the things for me that have just kind of put my whole world in whack. and not only that, but it's also being mindful that we have 4 other kids that also have needs.
And the age gap between last and fourth. Now.
Yeah. So because all our other kids, it was 2-year gaps between them all, and then this one, all of a sudden, there's a 4 or 5 year gap.
Yeah.
And so again, that's why I say, like, the challenge was just adjusting now to the newborn, and then also the dynamics now of us also being older, also having 4 other kids to care for, and trying to figure that out as a family.
So, okay. So, bro, you just had your 5th child, and you are how old?
I am going to be 42 this year.
Damn.
Bro, I'm going. Good strike rates. My wife is 37.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's even before.
Wow.
Anyway, but
do you feel like you have less capacity for the baby as compared to when you were younger?
to be honest, it feels like I have less, not capacity, but less patience.
Oh.
Yeah.
Why patience of all the things?
Because there's so much more that is going on. And so I think one of the things that I've learned, the jump from like 4 to 5, and like I said, there being the gap and us being slightly older, is that my role as a father has shifted.
Okay.
And even like responsibility wise. So when kids are young, they are heavily dependent on the mother.
Yes.
And that's from a food perspective to just a nurture perspective.
Yes.
But the older they get, I think that as fathers, we play a bigger role in their lives.
I actually remember there was a time when I actually asked you about, I don't even know if it was on any of the episodes or just some time ago. I remember asking you about just the capacity to parent teenagers or older kids as compared to toddlers. And the one thing that you were saying was like, they have a lot more emotional and mental, need for you.
Yes.
As a dad when they're older as compared to when they're toddlers.
Yes.
Which for me it's interesting. I mean, like, I sometimes really worry if, like, the stereotypical teenage stuff that we see, I'm going to experience, because I'm just like, damn, I don't know if I can deal with, like, the teenager that wants to be locked up all the time, or just like by themselves. Anyway, that's his own stuff. But I guess I always think about how to handle at that point that kind of changing shift, because now what your first Kumi is what, 12?
She's 12. Yeah, should be 13
this year.
Yes. Yeah, that's real. So I said, bro, we're older.
Okay.
We're gonna have a teenager.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is that not like a bit of a mind screw having with a teenager and like a 10-month-old and being both like?
Yeah. So I guess the difference is that we now have more grown children, and then there's the age factor of us also being older and all those things. But if I could say, plainly put, is that when children are small, the primary kind of caregiver is the mother.
Yeah.
Again, in terms of like feeding, in terms of nurture, just in terms of all that they need to, especially when they're kind of they are most like physically at their neediest, if I could put it that way. And then the older they get, the more I think a prominent role the father plays.
True.
In all those things. So those are the things I think we've had to kind of navigate in this last season. Is sometimes I think is the expectation for me to be super hands-on with the newborn, and yet there are 4 other kids that also need parenting, that also need me, and so I think.
But I'm curious though, in terms of like how, I guess we always talk about how do the parents adjust, but how do you feel like the kids have adjusted well?
Oh. I think our kids are doing well.
Yeah.
And I think, as I was saying, is I've had to be mindful that I had to be even more present for them.
Sure.
The other four. So just, being mindful of spending time, making sure I'm listening, making sure, even things like bed routines, or just, if I'm going somewhere, take one of them, have a conversation along the way. And so I guess they're aware of our presence. And even for them though, I think having a little one in the house has also given them some sort of responsibility.
Okay.
Whereas I think when they were younger, there's certainly we didn't expect of them. Whereas now that they're older, like Nkumi is 12.
Yes.
And Ugo was 10. It's like, listen, hey, you also, this child is also, you can share some of the responsibility in helping in the household and helping even with your baby sister. Do you know what I'm saying? So the dynamics have shifted altogether. So it's never like a copy and paste of what you did with maybe another pregnancy or another birth or things like that. And you just have to kind of figure out where you're at and how you can adjust to that.
Okay.
And I think what often becomes a frustration is when you expect the same environment as what you had in number 4 and number 3 or number, and that's why it's just a process of learning and adjusting expectations.
Shucks, bro, you know what? I think in this last year, I've definitely come to experience the full-on, no better way to say it, expense of having a big family, financially.
Again?
Because I think, like, I realized so much stuff. I'm just like, one, so obviously the cost of living compounds over time, sharp. But I realized that, like, it's not even about, can you handle, this amount of kids in a car, or what, like school fees and all that stuff. Yeah, I hear that. It's just, bro, food. My God, bro, like now, like, because they're growing, right?
Yeah.
Right? Like, I come with the car, school fees is school fees, but like these guys grow in size and just, okay, can I have more? Can I have more? And when you're homeschooling, even worse, it's just like, can I have a snack? What's for dinner? What's for lunch? What's for breakfast? I want more. And I was like, damn, okay.
Yeah.
So this is, and I mean, like, so I think even just, rate and prices escalating has been actually something interesting. But anyway, that's so to say, it's influenced me so much in terms of wanting to live, so to say, off the grid. Like, I really now want to farm. Like, actually, like, I know that you like a bit, you're sort of like off, you're out of the city. Yes. And I'm just like, you know what? Like, it makes sense for big families to be more outside the city, because cost of living, like buying eggs or buying fish produce in the city versus outside the city is two different things.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm just like, it's things like that where you're spending anything between 4 to 6 grand minimum on groceries, minimum. And take that kind of budget and put it in a house that's outside the city, they can do a lot more, right? And I'm just like, okay, let's see. But anyway, that's a topic for another.
A whole nother chat.
No, that's a whole nother chat. But yeah, I've been thinking a lot about a thought.
Yeah,
that's where I am now.
Got to do it.
Yeah,
got to do it. Yeah. So what happened? Yes. Tell us about you.
Oh man, we are doing like, yeah, I even that standard speaking. But me, I think, yeah, I feel like I was living a full-on drama series this past year or so. The most I guess, prevalent thing that's happened has been me dealing and working through my clinical depression. I don't think there's probably like I haven't mentioned it in any other episodes. I probably mentioned it on my social page on my Instagram, but like what is it now? 2.5 years, probably 3 years ago, I got like I knew that I struggled with depression. I just thought it was just mild, and all of that. But it got worse like 3 years ago, and I felt like maybe let me just go to like a proper like clinical psychologist and let them tell me what's what. I had like 2-3 sessions with her, and then at the end she was just like, "Yep, this is a formal diagnosis that this is clinical depression." And the difference, I guess, between depression and clinical depression is that clinical depression is a lot more like, how do I say it? Clinical for like it's all neurological. It's all you have a deficit in serotonin, which is the feel good chemicals in your brain and your body, right? And so when it's clinical depression, is that that's when people start getting prescription medication that's supposed to act as a supplement to get you to, I mean, what my doctor then said was like, the thing about clinical depression is that because you're at a deficit in terms of serotonin, feel good stuff, say that this is the average person and this is me. It's not about getting me above in terms of those chemicals in my body and in my brain. It's about, can we create an equilibrium in terms of the average amount of serotonin that you should be having in your system? And so, so then for all of last year, all of like a year and a half, I was on on prescription meds that were to help with my depression. And because I've had suicidal ideation, suicidal attempts, and so last year felt like it was hard because one, like my journey, even just physically in my body, is that weight loss and weight gain like it's either a source of my insecurities or it's a source of my just yes for life, just to I'm in the gym. And so what happened is that with the meds, it's kind of like, the stereotypes that you hear about prescription meds is like, once you get it, this weight gain, this fluctuation of weight. I remember telling my doctor, I'm like, I do not want any kind of weight gain. It's like, sharp, put me on the right one, it was great. And then I kind of like had like a relapse a year ago where I had I wanted to commit suicide. And after that, I went to like a formal psychiatrist. I took a couple of weeks off from everything, life, family, work, and I went into a wellness center. The name of the wellness center is like a Kesu. And when I was in there, I had probably like 4 or 5 sessions with like a formal psychiatrist, and blood tests and diagnosis, and just doing it the right way. Well, not that I didn't do it the right way before, but he just wanted to get to the root cause of everything. And so that was that carried on for about 6 months. And it's been just over a year and I haven't had any kind of like relapse. I haven't had any kind of depressive episode of sorts, no anxiety and stuff like that. But the next level to that is that like, because I felt like, I think my perspective about mental health is that the pills don't solve everything, right? You still got to do the work. You still got to go see a therapist individually. You still got to do all these other things. But I think the things that I was not doing were the basic things: sleeping well, eating well, exercising.
I hear you.
That's it.
Yeah.
Sleep, exercise, diet. Like those three things, if you were to ask me last year if I was doing them well, I'd be like, nah, bruh. Like I was struggling with like insomnia. I was exercising here and there. I was eating not so great. I mean, I wasn't like junking out every single day, but when you think about the wellness of your body and your mind, those three things are like crucial. And so I then, my last session with my psychiatrist, I said to him, okay, where do you think I am in terms of my progress? And he was like, you know what? You are definitely not where you used to be. And I said, listen, I want to ask you a question, and then feel free to say no. Can I start weaning off of my prescription meds? Because I definitely want to do life right in terms of the small stuff habitually. Right? Because I know that that's going to help me in the long run. The long run isn't to stay on prescription meds. This was to help get me to a balance that I needed. And so I asked him, I'm like, listen, if you feel like it's not time yet, I'm rushing this thing, I'm all good, I can wait. And he's like, listen, let's do it. I back you. I think you're in a good space. I think that you have the right things in place. And so this is now 4th month of no prescription meds.
Nice.
And it is good. It's good and tough. So it's not bad. It's good and tough. It's good in the sense that I'm definitely forced in a corner to get the basics right.
Yes.
My sleeping, my diet, my exercise. I'm back in soccer. I am back in the gym. Not back in soccer. I started playing soccer. I'm back in the gym. I'm sleeping better. I'm eating better. That's it. And I can feel the difference. The tough part though is that because my body has been, it's like you're using a specific set of medication for almost 2 years. Your body gets used to it.
Yeah.
And so like
that becomes the new norm.
So that becomes the new norm. So like I understand that it's going to take a bit of time, but I mean, like it's a journey I'm willing to take because I feel like I at least know the demons I'm fighting. So yeah.
I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Yeah.
I think that's an important thing. I mean, just some of the things that you're touching on, and I think over the course of the year, as we engage with different topics, there's definitely, I mean, we need to address mental health. We need to, mental health and physical well-being. Spiritual well-being, and I think a big one, I think that you didn't mention there, is just like relational.
Yes.
Community.
Right.
Like having people around you, that kind of thing.
That was big.
Yeah.
That was, I mean, community for me was a massive word. But yeah, I think I definitely think therapy it needs its own.
Yeah. We need to have a proper chat around that.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you mentioned, like, I guess the difference kind of between the clinical and that thing where you actually need to be medicated. People get to that stage. Well, the difference between that and just having a bad day.
Exactly.
Not running a whole bad week or whatnot.
Exactly.
Which is it's quite important for I guess us to understand.
Yeah.
And I think we'll definitely take some time to engage around these things. Yeah.
I think if I can, I want to say a call to action from you guys would be to send us stuff or topics that you'd want to share, talk about. We are definitely not experts at all these subject matters.
You're not. I am. I'm checking. Bro, I've got the big guns, bro.
Yeah. So I think like yeah, it would be cool to hear from people what people are going actually want to talk about. It's not all gonna be serious.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely looking forward to just doing this well and doing this often. The simpler, the better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just want to say thank you to everyone that we kind of bump into on the street or somewhere online that just says, man, thank you for the content and keep the content coming. It's a massive encouragement to us. And that's why we're actually back doing this thing again, because we're like, hey, you know, it is adding value and bringing life, especially to the gents out there. And so that gents, you know that, man, you're not alone in this thing, man. We have all sorts of struggles, we have all sorts of challenges, but you're not alone in this. And we could all live healthy, thriving lives as gents, as husbands, and as fathers.
So yeah, this is from us, the four fathers. We are out. Please like, share, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time.